What if I told you that one of the most liberating things you could do in life is to learn to be disliked? I know it sounds counterintuitive, right? We're all wired to seek approval, to be liked, accepted, and appreciated. But here's the truth. The more you chase other people's approval, the less control you have over your own life. Whether you realize it or not, your need to be liked can actually be a prison, one that keeps you from living authentically, making bold choices, and standing up for what you truly believe in. Imagine this. Every time you speak your mind, pursue a passion, or make a decision that others don't agree with, you feel that sinking feeling in your stomach, the fear of being judged or rejected. You might second-guess yourself, adjust your behavior, or even shrink back, all to avoid the discomfort of being disliked. But what if embracing that discomfort could actually be your secret weapon for freedom, growth, and happiness? That's where Stoicism comes in. This ancient philosophy teaches us that we don't have to live at the mercy of other people's opinions. In fact, it argues that true strength lies in accepting and embracing being disliked, because it means you're living in accordance with your own values, not chasing after external validation. The Stoics knew that if we let our need for approval control us, we lose the power to make choices that align with who we really are. In this guide, we're going to explore how accepting disapproval, instead of running from it, can actually be a path to personal freedom. We'll look at why people dislike us, how it affects our lives, and how you can use Stoic wisdom to free yourself from the chains of other people's opinions. Ready to unlock the power of being disliked? Let's dive in. Why do people dislike us? It's a complex issue, but understanding why people dislike us can give us the clarity we need to navigate it effectively. Sometimes people dislike us simply because we're different. Maybe you've made an unconventional career choice, or perhaps your lifestyle doesn't fit into the norms of your community. Take, for example, Steve Jobs. When he dropped out of college to pursue his passion for technology, many people, including his own parents, didn't understand or approve of his decision. But Jobs didn't let that stop him. His willingness to be different didn't just change his life, it changed the world. Other times, the reason behind someone's dislike has more to do with the decisions we make that affect others. Managers often find themselves in this situation. Imagine being a manager who has to make a difficult call, such as choosing between laying off a few employees to save the company or risking the entire business's future. No matter what decision you make, someone will be unhappy. In these situations, being disliked isn't a reflection of your character. It's a result of the hard choices you have to make for the greater good. And then, sometimes, it's not even about us at all. People's dislike can come from their own insecurities, jealousies, or misunderstandings. Have you ever met someone who seemed to dislike you right off the bat, before you even had a chance to say hello? That reaction is often more about them than it is about you. People project their own emotions, fears, and doubts onto others, and this can lead to baseless animosity. So, the first step in embracing being disliked is understanding that it's not always about you. How being disliked affects us. As social creatures, we're naturally wired to seek approval. We want to be liked, respected, and accepted by others. When we feel disliked or criticized, it can hit us hard. It might make us doubt ourselves, feel anxious, or even want to change who we are just to fit in. Think back to high school. Remember how it felt when the cool kids didn't like you, or maybe when you weren't invited to a social event and it seemed like everyone else was. Those moments can make us feel like we're doing something wrong, like we're not good enough, or that we need to change in order to be accepted. Here's where Stoicism comes in. The Stoics teach us that our worth doesn't come from others' approval, but rather from our own choices and actions. The only opinions that truly matter are the ones that we hold about ourselves. When we place too much importance on being liked or accepted, we give others the power to control our emotions. And once we let others control how we feel, we lose our ability to live freely and authentically. So, how do we break free from this cycle? The Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus offer us a timeless perspective that can help us embrace being disliked and take back control of our lives. The Stoic way. Embrace dislike as freedom. The Stoics were all about accepting what we can't control and focusing on what we can. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is the idea of differentiating between what's in our control and what isn't. When it comes to other people's opinions, you can't control how they feel about you, but you can control how you react to it. Marcus Aurelius, in his personal journals, which we now call meditations, reminds us time and again that we must be strong enough to withstand criticism without letting it define us. In one passage he writes, "If someone does wrong, it is not a bad thing. What is bad is to let that person's wrongs disturb your peace." The key takeaway here is that being disliked doesn't have to disturb your peace. Others may criticize you, judge you, or even dislike you. But that doesn't change who you are or what you stand for. Your inner peace is something that you alone can control. Epictetus takes this idea further by saying, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When someone dislikes you, it's an external event. Your reaction to that event, whether you choose to feel hurt, angry, or indifferent, is what truly matters. The Stoics suggest that we cultivate a sense of indifference to external judgments. This doesn't mean we don't care about the people around us, but rather that we don't let others' opinions dictate our emotional state. Why embracing dislike leads to freedom. The truth is that you can't please everyone, and if you try, you'll end up losing yourself in the process. The more you try to fit into someone else's mold or live according to their expectations, the less you're living according to your own values and desires. You'll find yourself constantly shifting to meet the demands of others, and in doing so, you'll lose the freedom to truly be yourself. This is a powerful insight from Stoicism. True freedom comes from accepting who you are and not needing external validation. When you embrace being disliked, you free yourself from the chains of other people's judgments. You stop allowing the opinions of others to have power over your sense of self-worth. Instead, you become grounded in your own values, knowing that your actions are aligned with your inner purpose. Practical strategies for embracing dislike. So, how do we put all this into practice? How do we embrace being disliked and free ourselves from the need for approval? Here are a few Stoic-inspired strategies you can start using right away. Practice indifference. Every time you encounter a situation where you feel disliked or criticized, pause and remind yourself, this is not in my control. Take a deep breath and let the judgment roll off you like water off a duck's back. Cultivating a sense of indifference to others' opinions is a muscle you can strengthen over time. Focus on what you can control. The Stoics taught that we should focus only on what's within our control, our thoughts, actions, and reactions. If someone dislikes you, that's their business, not yours. But how you respond to it is entirely up to you. By redirecting your energy toward what you can control, you stay grounded and at peace. Reflect on your own values. At the end of each day, reflect on whether your actions were in line with your own values. When you act according to your beliefs, the opinion of others becomes less important. When you're true to yourself, being disliked becomes just another sign that you're living authentically, not trying to please everyone. Use criticism as a learning tool. Not all criticism is harmful. Constructive feedback can help you grow. The Stoics suggest that instead of reacting defensively, we should consider whether there's any truth to the criticism and how we can learn from it. If someone dislikes you for a valid reason, reflect on that and see if there's room for growth. Conclusion: embracing dislike as a path to freedom. In the end, being disliked is not the problem. The real problem is when we let that dislike control us. If we constantly try to please everyone, we'll never be free to live authentically. But by embracing the Stoic principle of accepting what we cannot control, we can learn to release the power others have over our